All right, this is exciting. I'm excited at least. I hope you are as well. In this video, I'm going to walk you through our brand new content strategy. As we move forward over the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months and beyond, we are really looking to ramp up the content that we share on social media, and I want to share exactly what we're doing step by step with you so that should you choose, you can do exactly the same. In this video, I'm going to break it down into 4 core sections. So first, I'm going to talk about what we're doing right now, how we got there, why it worked at the time, and ultimately what it looks like at this very moment. Then we're going to talk about the new strategy, why this is so important, why I think now is the right time for that, the benefits of this new strategy that I believe, and how we're actually going to start implementing this as well. The third thing that we're going to talk about is how we actually measure and go about measuring the effectiveness of this new strategy. Now, you want to watch that part because that might not be what you would expect. Okay, and it's actually not we would have expected when we sat down to create a content strategy for an online business. And then the fourth thing we're going to talk through is who should and who should not implement the strategy that we are using at this very moment. Now, if you are ultimately looking to get more reach, more visibility, more clients, more customers, have omnipresence, build strong relationships with your audience, then you want to be watching this video. However, if you don't, if you pass over, if you miss it, chances are you could be missing out on some of the strongest relationships that you could create with your audience. You could be missing out on massive profits ultimately, and you could be missing out on repeat clients, repeat customers, repeat buyers if you're not building those relationships with the people that you want to be connecting with. So let's do it. Let's dive in. I'm excited to share this with you. Okay, so number one, let me share with you what we do right now in our current content strategy. Well, we're very, very much focused around Instagram. Instagram has been the platform that we've been using since 2016. It's the one that we've put all of our focus on, all of our attention on to grow an audience, build an audience, and then monetize an audience. It's what we teach. And so it only makes sense that that's what we do. That's where we've been going over the past few years. Having focused specifically in creating content for Instagram, what we've then done is thought, well, do you know what? We probably need to be on Facebook, and maybe we actually should go to LinkedIn, and maybe TikTok would now fit as well. So we've taken the content we've been creating for Instagram and then tried to kind of shoehorn it in to fit into different platforms. Now, Instagram content onto Facebook, that's pretty natural, right? With all the updates that have been happening since 2016, well, since we started, they've been happening long before that as well. But all of these updates have been happening. Facebook owns Instagram, so it's a natural fit. That's fine. Linking in with LinkedIn, yeah, it kind of fits. It's all right. Some of the video formats and things are slightly different sizes, but overall we can kind of get away with it. And then TikTok now coming around, it's a natural fit that if we're going to be creating reels, if we're going to be creating content for Instagram, that we can kind of just go and drop that into TikTok and do almost exactly the same. You could argue with YouTube Shorts and all these other things that are coming along. But ultimately, the thing I want to get across is that we have been creating content for Instagram so far, and that's been our main focus. Now, in an ideal world, what I would have done is I would have picked up my camera every single day, talked to the camera, done video, got lots of kind of personal branding and images of me and my quotes and all this kind of stuff, which sounds very egotistical. It sounds all about me, but it's the kind of thing that most personal brands would do. And I haven't done that. Partly because I haven't wanted to, I have done at certain times, partly because I've been focused on other things, which is, aside from the marketing side, it's been on the income generation, but also partly because really there are other things that have worked to this point. And this is where most people fall down. Because the thing that has actually worked to such an extent, and it really continues to work on social media, is giving other people what they want to see. I'll say that again. What works on social media is giving other people what they want to see. And there are very, very few people in this world, thank you mum, thank you dad, but there are very, very few people in this world who actually really care what I have to say. And that is okay. That is absolutely fine. So what we did instead, what we taught instead, what we focused on instead is find the best content out there right now, which is already getting results. It's already getting engagement. It's already getting likes. It's already getting comments. It's already getting ultimately lots of growth, and start resharing or repurposing that content from your market leaders, from people in that space where you are, so that you can almost piggyback on that expertise and grow your brand. That's something that we've done for a very long time. It's something that we've taught. It's something that we recommend for people, particularly if you're getting started, and particularly if you don't feel that you have your own voice in your space yet, or you don't feel comfortable and fully kind of clear around the voice that you have in your space right now. Now, this is what we've been using for a long time, and of course it's worked fantastically for our accounts. It's worked with our clients. Some of our clients growing beyond $250,000 in total. I think our accounts that we've worked with are over 4.5 million in terms of growth, but then also in terms of income as well. The results have been remarkable for people that we've been able to work with. But now I'm really focused on, well, how do we actually take this to the next level? Because as social media changes, as Instagram changes, as all these platforms change, I really want to feel and be able to step back and say, well, how do we create something that feels like it has more longevity? And I'd be happy to say that there are times where creating content specifically for one platform feels like a bit of a drain. It feels very frustrating. And I'm seeing this with our clients now, particularly today in recent times, where when they create content for one platform and they don't see results instantly, it's like, what's going wrong? Why isn't it happening? Why isn't it working? And the reality is it does work, it does happen. We need to give two groups of people what they want. We've got to give our audience what they want, and we've got to give Instagram what it wants. And if we can do those two things, then the results will come. So that's what we've been doing so far, and it's what we've taught. However, we are now moving on to something slightly different and a new approach. And I want to share this with you right now. So let me go into number 2, which is what we're going to be doing moving forward. And you're experiencing it right now. In fact, I'm talking about it, I'm creating the video about the thing that we're going to be doing right now. Yes, really. And so what we're going to be doing right now is we're going to be focusing on creating a slightly different type of content, which is all based around one video. So this is the big shift now that we're making. It's all going to be focused around one video, which in this instance, on this particular week, at this particular time, is this video right here. And the reason is that what I'm looking to do is take the content and the knowledge and the information that we already have and start to use this to distribute across multiple channels. As an example, so what we're doing right now, and this is what we're going to be looking at moving forward, is we're going to be creating one piece of video content minimum per week. Ideally 2 pieces of video content per week, recorded in landscape, as in wider, that you can see, recorded in landscape so that this can go onto one specific channel, which is YouTube. I'm not a YouTube expert, I don't teach YouTube or any of these things. However, I'm very aware that there is this enormous platform out there right now, and I'd like us to get started using this platform. We did it a little bit in the past. You'll see some previous videos on the channel. However, now I really want to move this forward and see this as a core pillar of content. From this long form video, we can then strip the audio. So we're going to take the audio away, and that's going to go into our podcast. The podcast's been running since 2019, and I want to continue that growth, but I really want to make sure that it's also interesting and exciting for me to create content for that podcast. It got a bit boring, it got a bit dull, me sitting at home on my own, talking into the corner of the room into a microphone. Not very exciting. And so that's why I'd like us to start stripping the audio and doing this as well. So we've got our long form video. We're going to take that and we're going to put that onto YouTube. We're then stripping the audio. We're going to put that into a podcast. What I'm then going to do is we're going to go through the video and timestamp shorter video sections. And we're going to take that landscape video and we're going to cut it into vertical video. Now, the reason for that is that I'd like to then take that vertical video, and it'll be short, it will be anywhere from 5 seconds to 30 seconds, maybe a little bit longer, taking that vertical video, and that's what we're then going to put on those channels which allow for vertical video. So we've talked about Instagram already. Instagram will be one of them, TikTok will be another, Facebook, which shows Reels, we're going to do that there, and then we're also going to start putting that content onto YouTube Shorts. So you can see now there has been that real evolution and that shift in mindset for me, which hasn't been easy. I'm going to be honest, it hasn't been easy to move away from I'm just creating content dedicated for Instagram only to I'm creating content that has a bit more longevity. It's going to be sticking around a little bit longer, and we can distribute it and use it across multiple channels. The other things that we're going to do is we're going to take quotes from this long form video, and we're going to put those into and repurpose those into posts that we can share on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and other platforms as well. And you might be sat there thinking, Jake, this isn't the wisest, most inspirational thing I've ever heard. Are there really quotes in this? I don't know. I hope so. I really do. In that what we're talking about right now, in that some part of these 10 minutes or so, there's going to be something valuable that we can put into 2 or 3 quotes per week. So that's really going to be it. That's our new strategy moving forward. And as I shared before, the benefits that I see in this are that, firstly, I want to feel more energized around the content that we share. Absolutely 100%. And just creating short form content that goes into one platform, sometimes it gets results, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes people see it, sometimes they don't, sometimes you feel good about it, sometimes you don't. I'd really like to be able to create something that's got a bit more value and that ultimately add value to a wider range of people. The second reason is that I genuinely believe that when we work with clients, when we work with our team, when I'm going through and learning new things, that there's a lot of value that we actually have. We share a lot of good information. I genuinely believe that. And I don't mean that in an arrogant way. It's just something we've been doing now for 6 years plus. And so because we do it every single day, there's got to be learnings that we've done over the past few years. And I really want to be able to share that. And you can't always get that in a 15-second clip on Instagram. You can't always get that into a short quote on Instagram. And so that's why I really want to shuffle away a little bit and to be able to create longer form for you, for me as well. Of course, it's equally beneficial, but then we can also use it in multiple different areas as well. And so this is the big shift that we're going to be focusing on. And I'm really, really, truly excited about sharing this with you. Okay, so section number 3 is how do we test the effectiveness of this new way? Now, this may not be something that you would expect, and it wasn't really something that I had expected to say or think about or consider as we first started. The way that I'm testing the effectiveness of this is purely in our consistency. As in, how effective can we be? How successful is this? All comes down to one thing. How consistent are we? Now, what I mean by that is, if we find that 6 weeks down the line, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, 15 weeks, half a year, 2 years, 5 years, we are continuing to use this format or something similar where I'm creating content and sharing content on a consistent basis, that is going to be the success metric for me. Now, in most instances, and particularly with online businesses and such, marketing businesses as well, the natural thing might be, well, what is the immediate ROI? Can I point to the number of new followers that I get, the number of people that I get in front of? Can I talk about the reach that I'm getting? Can I talk about the income that's clearly been generated from this platform or that platform or any of those other things? And I get it. And I'm a business owner, okay? And you are, chances are that you are as well. And so naturally, we need to generate the income to be able to make this come in. But I'm actually going to use this in a totally different way. Throughout our videos and throughout the content that we share, there's going to be very, very few call to actions in terms of go and buy this and go and buy that. I don't want our content to be that at all. Instead, I really want to focus on how can we share more valuable, useful information, which ultimately is going to help more people and it allows us to serve more people as well. I've got no doubt that there will be benefits that come in later on, and if people really value what we share, then they will want to work with us. Those things will happen. But it's not going to be hardcore, direct call to action, go and do this, buy this, book a call here, all these types of things. Instead, I really just want to focus on and have our success metric, not as in the return on investment, not even in terms of the views and the likes and the comments and all those types of things, although of course I do hope that that happens, but just simply in case of, is this something that I can deliver consistently? And that is our sole success metric. So we will find out, won't we, over the next few weeks, the next few months, if these videos continue to show up, if these continue to share on the podcast, which I truly hope they do, that is going to be the success metric that we measure. Okay, so number 4, what I want to share now is a little bit of a disclaimer in terms of who I firmly believe should use this strategy and who perhaps should not be using the strategy that we're talking about right now, okay? My personal recommendation is that you should be using this strategy, and that this would be a great strategy for you to use if you already have an audience or some form of audience in place. If you've already got an audience perhaps on your email database, on 1 or 2 social media platforms you're using consistently, and you're feeling at this moment that you're just plowing content into 1 or 2 platforms only, and you're not necessarily seeing the return. Because I think with some of those shorter form platforms like Instagram, like LinkedIn, like Twitter, etc., is that if you are a content creator, or if you want to be sharing more content and more valuable information, but it feels like when you put it into the platforms, it's just disappearing and you're not always seeing the return, then I would encourage you to be looking at something which has a little bit more longevity as well. The second thing that I would suggest, second reason I would suggest that you want to do this is if you really want to find a new way of distributing across multiple channels in a more time effective way. And so rather than creating content for Instagram, and then you go LinkedIn, and then you go YouTube, and then you go podcast, if you're thinking, well, how do I actually just do this in a more time effective way? One video, long form, where you can take all different parts of it, I think is going to be a lot more beneficial and a lot more useful for you as well. The other reason that you might choose to use this is, and this is a tough one, but if you are comfortable without getting immediate results, and you are happy to delay the gratification to the point where you might not even get that gratification. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, if you're committing to, let's say, doing long form video on YouTube in this particular sense, then you are happy just to continue to create content again and again and again and again and again without necessarily seeing any results in a short space of time. Now, I'm not a YouTube expert, so I've got no idea what this is going to look like, but I imagine and I expect, and I've already prepared myself, that these videos having a handful of views, maybe 1 or 2 comments, and that's about it. But that's okay. And I'm fully okay with that. It gets me a little bit out of my comfort zone because in my mind I think, well, I'm an expert on Instagram, so every time we post on Instagram, there's got to be likes, there's got to be comments, there's got to be engagement, there's got to be traffic, blah, 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 okay? And I get it, because that's something that I've put on myself, that's pressure I'm putting on myself, but as the perception of being an expert in a particular area, then you are expected to demonstrate that expertise, right? So to go from a channel where we are getting results and such, to a channel where I'm pretty sure we're not going to get results, maybe ever, is quite a big step. But do you know what? I'm ready for it, and I'm prepared to be able to do that because I genuinely believe that by sharing longer form content and doing it in this way is better for our audience. It's also going to be more enjoyable for me. It's going to mean that I don't create that type of burnout as well. And so exactly the same for you. Who should not use this strategy? Well, my recommendation is that you do not go for this strategy straight away if you're just getting started. If you don't yet have a particularly large audience, if you are just brand new to this, my personal suggestion would always be focus on, well, my personal suggestion is Instagram +1. But it doesn't have to be Instagram. Whatever platform you're going to be focused on, I would suggest it's that platform +1. And the reason I say +1 is that you just want to have that little bit of security if, for whatever reason, the main channel you're using disappears overnight or there's a huge change in the algorithm. I'm a big believer in building email lists anyway, but if you're not at that stage, or even if you are at that stage, I would still use social media platform +1 would be my recommendation. So if you're just getting started, if you're brand new, if you haven't yet got consistent on a platform and started seeing results, that would be my personal recommendation. Get really, really good at one thing, learn how that works, start getting results, start growing an audience, and then once you've got systems in place, then you can start to build further from that. The other thing I would suggest, and the other type of person I would say that this might not be suitable for, is if you're really kind of pushed for time and squeezed for time at this very moment. We're very fortunate in that behind the scenes we've got a team that support me, they can support with the videos, they can support with the audio, we can support with the content distribution and such, and therefore it becomes a lot easier for me personally to be able to manage that. Now that's only happened because we built the business, because we've got different income streams that allow for that little bit more freedom and flexibility. But I would not, if I was advising myself back in 2016, I wouldn't say, yeah, you should go and do that and then edit the videos and then do this and then do all these other things, because that's exhausting. It really, really would be. And so if in doubt, narrow the focus, get really, really good at one thing, follow one course until successful, and ensure that you do get the results in that one area, and then you can, should you choose, branch out into other areas. So if you found this video useful, firstly I want to say a massive thank you so much. I do greatly appreciate it for watching all the way to the end. And if it has been useful, please do 3 things. Please hit like, please hit subscribe, and please go and check out this video, which will be over here somewhere, I imagine, which is my top 3 recommended books in 2023. Go and check on one of these videos over here and go and click on that. It will massively help you and take you to the next stage. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye for now.